Today, we're gonna be taking apart the BMW M2 CS. I'm just kidding, we're not gonna be taking it apart with this. We're gonna be using screws and drills and hammers. Okay, so maybe this a little bit, but what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be taking off the bumper to put mesh behind all the grills to make sure that if any little rocks ever go up into the coolers, they don't break and start leaking coolant. Of course, M2 is stamped right here in the wheel well. The wheel well liner is two pieces, so the back piece and then also the front piece connects up there, and the easiest way to take the front bumper off is to get the front piece off. Luckily, Darryl has a drill with adapters for sockets, and we're gonna be using this 8mm to take all these screws out. You see that? I'm like an F1 pit stop worker right here. Professional. There's actually 3 bolts from the underside holding on the wheel well liner, and one is right there, there, and there. And this is what the wheel well liner looks like. Oh wow, it says F82 CS, that's really cool. And this is what the inside of the wheel well looks like. And to take the bumper off of the fender, you've got to undo these all through here. And with that, the bumper's actually all off. So we've got both sides off. The left side is definitely a lot harder. We've got to take this rubber piece off, which comes off very easily, just like that. Literally, that's it. And the only thing holding the bumper up right now is these 6 bolts. We disconnected everything, and now the bumper is coming off. There we go. And there is an M2 CS bumper. This plug is going to be in the bumper around this area, and there will be a lip up here to make it difficult, because what you need to do is pry it open under this part and lift like that, but you can't because it's facing like this, and there's also a thing there. So what you need is a pick tool like this. This clip works the same way, but it has 2 sides, so you need to get a pick tool there and a pick tool down there. It's going to be sitting like this, and in order to make this easier to remove, I'm going to go to the bumper and show you a little secret. When it's here, it's hard to get on either end to pry it off. So what you do is you just get a screwdriver facing down there, pop these 2 things off, they just snap right back in, and then you're able to maneuver around and get it off. Here's Darryl at work, putting the mesh behind or in front of the heat exchanger, which I was gonna do, but he stole my my job from me right there. Anyways, this is what Darryl did on the bumper. It's looking pretty good, actually. I think this is gonna look good from the outside. Right now, I'm gonna be cutting this off of the mesh so that it can sit flush here. So as you can see, this is protruding out a bit and everything else is flat. So it's gonna rest a lot nicer. There we go. Perfectly flush. I didn't get it on camera, but we had to remove this aluminum bumper right here along with the foam one just to get better access to put the tie straps on the grills, and also here. Another cool feature, by the way, says M2 here, right, and then M2 left over there. And one other interesting thing, this is the horn here. The other one's on that side, looks the same. It's like a little trumpet. And this is actually made in Egypt. I've been talking too much, let me get this on. See, there we go. That took me about 30 seconds to get that ready. There you go, so easy. Let me do 2 more. And then down here, there's a pop that goes right here. Okay. And there you go. Here is the completed job. Of course, we don't have the bumper on yet, but the grills there, they look really good. You won't be seeing that excess over there once the bumper's on, just that. Up there, there's Darryl, and there's the other side. And then we're also gonna be doing underneath the oil cooler. And then for here, it's already on the bumper. Something smart Darryl did to eliminate vibrations is put a piece of foam here and a piece of foam here. So if it vibrates, it won't make any weird noises. Here is what the aluminum BMW bumper looks like. And you have to be very careful with these because they deform very easily. What I'm gonna be doing is lining it up and then hitting it as hard as I possibly can to crack the bumper. Does this look lined up to you?
Yep.
Oh, this is perfect. I lined it up perfectly.
Good.
First try, I'm a genius. Look at that. I didn't really want to record it because Darryl and I had to focus on this, but we got all 4 bolts in and they're loose. They aren't grabbing on anything. They're in perfectly. This is what the bumper's looking like right now, or the front end. Looks really interesting. By the way, if you're ever taking your bumper off, you're gonna need to take a piece of wood here and then hit it with a rubber mallet this way and it'll come out. Pulling it out, it's gonna be very difficult. This is day 3. We have everything done. The aluminum bumper's on, the foam bumper's on. We also taped it in place just to make sure it won't come undone. And now we're gonna be putting the actual bumper on, I guess you could say. Gotta make sure it's lined up with the clips. Now that we're done here, the next thing that we're gonna do is screw the bumper onto the fenders, and then once they're all lined up and the fitment's good, we're gonna tighten these up in the proper position. This wheel should not be here. Let's do something about that. And there we go, problem solved. Now it's time to plug the sensors back in, so let's do that right now. I don't know if you remember, but we had to unplug this from the bumper earlier to get this unplugged. So let's just put that back in right there. Just snaps in like so. There we go. You might already know this stuff, but I want to point it out really quick because it's interesting. This is your brake wear sensor. So when you're looking at your infotainment system and it shows you the brake pad life, the oil, and all this other stuff, that's what's responsible for your brake pads. This is your ABS sensor. Right here is your brake line. And this, very interestingly, is the adaptive suspension. Goes here, it goes into the coilover right there. There's me, there's Darryl, and this is what we need to do to get the fender and the bumper stuck together again, because as you can see, there's quite a big gap. Really quick, I want to mention how useful this is. This isn't your regular swivel joint attachment. This is one whole piece, and this is so much easier. We did this in like 3 minutes. It's crazy. I'll be putting a link in my description to where you can get one of these awesome bendy things. It's time to get these bad boys back into the wheel well. Remember, there's the 2 tabs there, so when you're pushing, you gotta push in and also forward. Wow, this has been really easy compared to my bumper. Amazing what a drill and a bendy thing can do. Both fender liners are in, so now it's time to put the oil cooler guard on, which Darryl put this mesh in. It's beautifully done. It lines up perfectly without any gap, and this is gonna be really good to protect the oil cooler from any rocks that get kicked up or anything. Here's what the underside looks like now that we've got the oil cooler thing back on. This looks so much better, and it's also really functional because any stones going here are gonna have to go through the mesh first. Looks great. Wow. It's the final step. We're gonna tighten these bolts up, and then I don't know where the rubber is, but we're gonna be putting it on in a second. Whoa, how did that get there? So we finished everything, but it looks like there's something missing. I think we need a wheel here. Darryl, do you mind snapping really quick? Wow, would you look at that? It's almost as if I edited that in. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that this day has been a long time coming. We're actually putting Darryl's carbon fiber lip back on the car. Wow, I did not think this day would come this soon. I didn't get it on camera, but Darryl put the Axie on, which is kind of just like the slip wheel that I have, and it's a lip protector. This is a moment to be remembered on my channel. It's a historical moment. Let's get this on. This is amazing. Look how good it looks.
It's done?
Oh, you have a CS now. Okay, now all Darryl has to do is start the car up, back it out, and we can see how these beautiful screens and this amazing, fantastic, very good looking lip looks when it's back on the car on the ground. It's been a long time coming, but it finally happened. Here's the car, and wow, does it look good. From here, you can't really tell that there's any grills on it or any mesh on it, but you can see this beautiful lip. And interestingly enough, actually, with the mesh, everything looks blacked out when you're back here, which is a really cool feature. I think it looks great with the blue, especially the lighter blue. And coming up close, wow, that really does look good. That white thing is the Axion 3M tape, by the way. It's just how we installed it. It can be done differently. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's more of a DIY video, so if you learned something useful, please let me know in the comments. And if you're doing it yourself and you have any questions on some specifics of the video, I'll be happy to help out. With that being said, I post every Thursday at 9 a.m. This week's video was on Friday because I had a very busy week. But anyways, I hope to see you in next Thursday's video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.